Someday. Someday I'll start a stream on time, but that day is not today. How we doing, everybody? How are we doing? Give me a second. There we go. Oh, you notice we got things look a little different today. Things look a little different. We're trying out a new overlay. I think immediately I might need to make some changes soon. Just to, because the grade might be too similar. But we're trying it out. Ready for another oxymoronic journey, brother? I don't know that I am. I truthfully don't know that I am. I am hella sleep deprived at the moment. I didn't fall asleep until sometime around 5 a.m. last night. Don't ask me why, I couldn't tell you why. So I don't know, and I'm honestly praying that the game gives us a break today and we get some free time. Because we've been in cutscene hell for for a few streams now, and I'm ready to get out of it. Was it insomnia? I mean, basically. I don't like calling it insomnia, because I had a friend who actually had legit insomnia. As in, like, he would get maybe 2 to 4 hours of sleep per week. And I've never been like that, but yeah, sometimes I just don't fall asleep. Stuff like that will only happen like once every few months. But hands in the air, I don't know. It is what it is. By my count, I think we only have probably 2 dungeons left, just by my read of the pacing of the game. Because we haven't met the prince yet. And we're not going to meet the prince anytime soon, I don't think, because the game said that it's too dangerous right now. So presumably we still need enough time to do stuff elsewhere, then go meet the prince, then get to max social link with the prince. So I think I think we still have kind of a ways before the end of the game. The chat in the overlay isn't showing. It's probably just me. Yeah, that might just be you. I mean, I can see it. It is a little small. It is a little small. It's a little crammed in there. If I might make a... I might go in and up the font size later. It's the same font size, but it's a smaller window, so that makes sense. But anyway, what happened last time? Last time we fought Rella for literally no reason, and then she killed herself for basically no reason. And that's the short of it. It's more complicated than that, but watch the VOD. I don't care. I don't care. I'm so done with what this game considers to be plot twists. No more plot twists, please. Let's just have a normal, predictable game from now on. Ah, the video feed froze. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Don't worry about it, Blitzy. Don't worry about it. Happens to the best of us. Yeah. We've had like 6 or 8 hours of cutscene hell, and my main takeaway is that the game doesn't know how to write plot twists. So let's just not have any more of that, please. No more. Let's just fight Louie and be done with it. Whatever. Have you ever MetAphor? Hi, Ami, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. No, I've never MetAphor. That's unfortunate, I know. Hold on to that thug energy on me. Wish I had a little more thug energy. I could use a little thug energy today. What do you have to say more? Getting that post-mass eepiness. I can relate to that, except it's not post-mass eepiness, it's... I didn't fall asleep until 5 a.m. Thug energy is gone. Same. Same. Cannot blame you. Cannot blame you. Here's another symptom of playing MetAphor is that they're just gonna tell you things that they've already told you before and act like it's new information. I don't sleep to 1, that's too much for me. Yeah, I mean, I usually try to go to sleep around 1. It has not been working though. Metaphor for something, that's what we are trying to figure out. And honestly, we're kind of in the final act now, and my main takeaway is that it's not a metaphor for anything. It's not a metaphor for anything. The symbolism is whack. The metaphors are whack. The analogies are whack. It's just democracy good, racism bad. I cannot... At the current moment, I cannot pierce any deeper or more meaningful themes than that. Which is incredibly disappointing. It's a metaphor for time being a flat circle. Yeah, probably. Pierce, that's my friend. Yeah, maybe he can pierce the depths on this one. I analyzed Persona 3, Persona 4. I had even Persona 5 to a lesser extent. I had some great times, and my current thought on this game is that it's as shallow as a kiddie pool. I was that's my current takeaway at the moment. In fairness, I'm pretty sour on the game, so we'll see how I feel when the game actually ends. The metaphor is the potential friends we kill along the way in the name of peace. Yeah, pretty much. A shallow game that uses the aura of Persona to give it depth. Yeah, pretty much. That's actually a great way of putting it. Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. Because I was definitely going in with that sort of expectation in mind, that it would be a game that I could really, pick apart and sink my teeth into, but it's not. It's disappointed me. Hype moments and aura, exactly. That's all Metaphor is. It's just a series of hype moments and aura with very little continuity between them. Even if I was able to tear it apart enough to put together some sort of theme, some sort of metaphor beyond democracy good, it still wouldn't excuse the absolutely awful plot writing and the not abysmal, but definitely like 40th percentile tier character writing. Character design and music wasted? Yeah, that's where I am right now. That's where I am. I remember I tweeted like a quote from, not last stream, the stream before that. It's like, it's a fun game, charming characters, beautiful music, beautiful backgrounds. Some of the worst writing I've seen in an RPG in a while. And what's killer is that a lot of my problems with the game come through the plot twists. If they just took the premise and delivered on it in a straightforward fashion, it would be a better game. That's kind of the bare minimum for a plot twist. Is the plot twist has to be more interesting than the alternative. But I would be more interested in a plot where we just fought Louis in a straightforward fashion. Plot twists have done nothing but make me frustrated. Next stream we play French Persona. Are you talking about Expedition 33? That is on my list. That's on my list. I don't know when I'd play it. Yeah, I do really want to play Expedition 33. I think the next RPG I'm going to play is going to be Chrono Trigger. But their Expedition 33 is on my list. I want to get to it. Heard nothing but good things, obviously. Another problem with MetAphor. They tell, they never show. The first rule of storytelling, show, don't tell. They always tell, they never show. Moore has connections to the Mage Academy, something we never would have known unless he told us directly. It feels like, you know, they did a great job like setting everything up at the beginning. They had all the pieces to do something good, and it's been so disappointing. I'm just at the point where I just want to kind of yada yada all of this. My current takeaway is just we're going to the Mage Academy, right? Yada yada. It's all connected. Yes, I never would have guessed that. I never would have guessed that. Oh yes, we're repeating things that have already been said like it's new information. I feel like this game had like 5 different writers and none of them talked to each other at all. Like each of them just took charge of writing a different part of the story and they did not talk to each other. Because even like the turning point of the previous arc right before this one was the realization that, oh, wait, if we challenge people to a duel, that bypasses the king's magic and allows us to kill each other. That was established in Act 1. That wasn't new information. It reminds me of Ruby post Volume 3. Yikes. Yikes, that's a low blow. That's a low that's a low blow, yeah. I can't even disagree with you. I stopped watching after after Volume 4, I think. The fact that you even make that comparison is damning. It's pretty damning. Because I jumped ship before it even got that bad. Yeah, so day of departure is 23rd, so we have free time until then. Made a good choice, TBH. Yeah, I saw the writing on the wall. I didn't think it was gonna get any better. I could feel it getting worse, and I did not have hope in it to get better. So far as I can tell, the only good thing to come out of it is the homophobic Ruby meme. Alright, so the game's giving us, what, 10 days? Do we have a dungeon? Can we go to the Mage Academy? Yes, dude, those things make me laugh so hard. It's so funny. The fact that it's canon makes it all the funnier. Skyrunner applied previously unreachable locations. Gather information about what Louis does as an archmage. Whatever. Side quest time. Side quest time. We just either really thought they could force lesbianism, which saved the show. I mean, it's kind of become their legacy, hasn't it? It feels like when I see Ruby discussed online, that's all people talk about is either homophobic Ruby or the awful lesbian ship in the first place. So in that sense, it kind of did save the show in a way. In a way, in a sort of all publicity is good publicity kind of way. Yada yada, what do you... Buy silk in a place called Malva, got it. Which I assume is on the way to some much more important location. Okay, that looks like a waste of time. Just not the kind they expected, yeah. Yeah. Let's trip to the recruitment center real quick, look for some bounties. But honestly, we're pretty high level, and I don't really care about anything else. So my main concern is just trying to get as many social links up as I can. Because I've never... I think they've made it easier as time has gone on. I've never got 100% at a Persona game on the first run. At least with, you know, Persona 3 and Persona 4, I actually plan to replay those games at some point. I don't think I'll be replaying this game anytime soon. Almost. Yada yada. Depending on how long this lasts, maybe I'll do a grinding stream for levels. I don't know. Okay, let's just go around getting side quests. Although, here, out of curiosity, I'm gonna check. We're not gonna do it immediately. Well, let's check supporters just to see if anyone is available right now. That's even on the table. Okay, there are people who want to talk to us. Maria! We haven't been able to talk to her forever. We haven't been able to talk to her in forever. What's Hulkenberg's problem? Here, we can do some jumping around later. Maybe we can finally finish the healer social link. I forget which one it was or why, but I just remember her late abilities were like some of the best. Yeah, so we have 10 days. But I think with our ability to fly, we can now reach anywhere in a single day. I'm also concerned because I have no idea. I have no idea where, what's-her-face, Kasrina is. be frank, I don't think half the community care about the plot. Some people would look at Hulkenberg and be like, elf mommy. People do! You know, a lot of times when people are like, I've seen a lot of fan art online, and when people are lining up, you know, the heroines of different Persona games, they put Hulkenberg, and it's like... Hulkenberg is not even the main heroine in her own game. Apparently, I've heard that MetAphor actually doesn't have any romance options, which is odd. It's an odd design choice to me, just considering the history of the Persona games. But even in the game, you know, Juna is kind of established as the central heroine. Juna is kind of the primary love interest that's established. And so if you're taking Hulkenberg and you're lining her up with, like, Anne... with like Anne and Yukari, that tells me you didn't play the game. It tells me you didn't play the game, you're just looking at box art. Especially since I liked Hulkenberg to start with. She's easily the most annoying character. And I don't say that lightly, because it is very rare that I call a character annoying. It actually has to be a lot of characters that people commonly find annoying. I don't. I either find them funny or inoffensive. Hulkenberg I find actively annoying. I kind of clipped it from last stream. I don't think I'll publish it because I don't think there's enough of a punchline. But oh my goodness. It's not even like the running jokes or anything. It's just her character. She has such a short fuse. She's so self-righteous. Strike first and ask questions later is the constant impression I got. That's what I was looking for. She's so self-righteous, and the game never calls her out on it, because it's made by leftoids who think that you're not allowed to contradict people's character traits. I'm just supposed to accept her as some kind of quirk chungus, when in actuality her behavior has gotten us into more than one problematic situation. And she has no ability to actually read situations. And to be honest, like the running joke of just eating everything, it gets kind of old. I don't find it offensive. It's just old. How much money do we have? None. Practically none at this point in the game. Okay, we'll do some of the quests, but I'm honestly, well, obviously completing social links has more of a bearing on the ending of the game than, you know, killing every monster or doing every dungeon. So that's kind of my main priority. And reasonably, we should oh, next time we travel. Okay, so Hulkenberg, we'll do her social link next time we travel. Got it. How are leftoid-minded individuals even in Japan? The internet. That's a simple answer. I mean, it's kind of the unfortunate reality is because America is one of the central exporters of entertainment and media. We end up sowing these kinds of seeds all over to anyone who actually has internet access. It's kind of like there's the one zombie idol anime. I don't remember the name of it. I don't care about it at all. But its author is like an extreme leftist, to the point that, you know, he's pushing like trans LGBT ideology through his show. Just, it's internet. Zombieland Saga? Yeah, I think that's it. Arden just says time. So it happens. I mean, it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare, but you can also kind of understand it. In that, my brain is moving at like 75% the speed it normally does. And you can kind of understand that in that Japan is... It has a lot of problems at the moment. It has a lot of problems at the moment. Societally, when it comes to, you know, obviously birth rates, loneliness, but even just things like work culture, pervasive senses of meaninglessness, and so people want meaning. They're looking for meaning, and so for a lot of young people in Japan, that's going to manifest as either a more right-wing viewpoint or as more of a left-wing viewpoint. That's how I see it. You know, they're both pushing for change. It's just a matter of what they blame the problems on and what they propose to fix it. Law and order, lack of human rights, the list goes on. Yeah. You know. I have a lot of obviously I have a lot of admiration for Japan, and I think in some ways they're better off than we are. Only take a single day. However, the dungeon isn't an open area. Or why are we in Martira? Oh, game's chugging. Just the map. That's also good news, is we won't be streaming MetAphor next Sunday, because next Sunday I'll be building, a friend will be helping me build my new PC. And so, for however many MetAphor streams we have left, they should be running much better. That's the good news. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's actually we were supposed to build it yesterday, but it got rescheduled, so that was fun. And it is what it is. And so finally, we'll some of the technical issues we've been having lately, especially since I debuted my model. We shouldn't be dealing with that anymore, which would be great. Yeah. I was disappointed too, especially because it meant that it was sort of a last-minute reschedule, and it meant I had to, we were supposed to do a collab this week, a peak collab, and I had to reschedule it. Maria, I remember, had some great abilities. Additional dish will be made. Yep. Significantly increased post-battle XP. Yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what we're talking about. Oh, why close out of the menu? That's why I was working so hard to build her earlier. I'd much rather talk to Maria than Yufa anyway. we go up and we talk to Maria. She's like, Avalon, I think I'm a boy. Oh shit! Here we go again. Nah. But it has genuinely... I have like, what, I'm at like 80, 90 hours? It must have been like 40 or 50 hours since I was last able to talk to Maria. This picture is old. I'm pretty sure we took that picture on our way to Maltira. It was either on our way to Maltira or on our way to Oceania. Yeah, outside Grand Trad. That was on our way to Maltira. That was so long ago. We're just giving all of them. We have more. We haven't done yet. Wow, so there's really a place outside of Grand Trad. I don't even know why we're Grand Trad, take a shot every time she says Grand Trad. I think I get what they're going for the abolishing romance options. They probably want to focus more on everyone being family, but the unrealistic part is that no one would eventually catch feelings for the opposite sex. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. It is kind of unrealistic. Especially considering, like, they're kind of setting up Juno as the main romance option. I don't really care. It's an odd creative choice considering the history of the franchise, because you know everyone was expecting it. So even though I'm not particularly bothered by it one way or the other, it's weird. Like, you know, everyone was expecting it. The majority of the Persona fan base wanted it. If people were offended by romance options, they wouldn't be Persona fans. Besides the fact that since Persona 3, you've always had the choice to engage in it or not. I hope they didn't do that as just a gotcha moment. Yeah, I do wonder what their motivation was. Because there's a part of me that feels like the motivation must be ideological, but then it's like, well, what possible ideological motive would you have? Except for perhaps some, you know, all are equal communist Platonism. I don't know. We're talking to some street urchin boy. I don't. Maybe I'm in the wrong mood. I'm so tired. Hey, there's that weirdo. I don't know. Like, yeah, she's getting bullied. Hey, do you know that therapist boy who was laying around here before? Is he dead? I mean, that kid who kept digging up food out of the rubbish? What about him? You need him for something? Possible that's a result of Japan's low birth rate and the rise of hikikomoris. The thing is, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true, because Japan's low birth rate and the rise of hikikomoris has, I think, the opposite effect. I would say that a lot of Japan's, frankly, a lot of its porn culture is because of that, is because people are lonely. Even speaking, like, from personal experience, I've never been a part of waifu culture. That's never really appealed to me. I would do romance options for the heck of it, but I never really had any emotional investment in it. Even insofar as I liked romance options, I basically completely lost interest in them the moment I met my now fiance. You know, if you're in a happy relationship, you don't care about romance options. It's when you're lonely that you want romance in games. It's when you're lonely that you want that to be simulated on a screen. At least when you're talking about self-insert characters. Obviously, actual romance stories are a different thing entirely. And so if you see the character as an entirely separate character and you're just telling a story, then yeah, you might like romance options. And it still appeals to me in that way. But if you see the character as a self-insert, then no, you're not going to be really interested if you're in a healthy relationship. I always found waifu culture odd because why are people fighting over ones and zeros on a screen? Yeah, I agree. I will say I didn't understand waifu culture for years. This is gonna give me so much judgment, but I'll admit it. I never understood waifu culture until Osaka Behime from Fate Grand Order. I love her so much. She's so adorable. She's adorable. I would have a figure of her. I have some figures, like anime figures. I would have a figure of her, except I don't have any female anime figures because I feel like even if you have like 10 male figures, if you have one female figures, people assume you're a creep. Even if it's completely wholesome. Then I understood it. It's like, yeah, I like her. She's cute. And I like having her on the screen. But even then, I never took it to the extent that other people do. You know, whether you're talking about like quote-unquote self-ships. So it's like, I get it to a point. I get it to a point. But I'm also, you know, I was never clamoring for like a romance game or anything like that. I suppose it was less of a, I don't know. I don't even know what the words. I don't know the words to use. I feel like after a certain point, I'm making distinctions without differences. The point being that if you're in a healthy relationship, you definitely don't really care about, to your point, ones and zeros on a screen. Outside of, you know, like just aesthetics and liking characters generally. There are shrines that people make, people take it too far and they need prayers. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. People definitely take it way too far, especially when you're talking about people who get like body pillows and things like that, or like actively pretending that their waifu is a real person, and like with cardboard cutouts and things like that. Yeah, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. You don't do that if you're in a healthy relationship. You do that if you're lonely. You do that if you're looking for satisfaction. You do that if you need affirming, if you need affirming and you're not getting it. Yeah, I don't care. I already got my future wife. Exactly. So, you know, you may like a character aesthetically. You may enjoy a romance story that features that character with a protagonist. But that's very different than the more, what would you say, wistful or pornographic motives that a lot of people have. It's very different. But at least from a, that then brings us back to our main question, which is that, you know, that kind of culture, as perverse as it is, it generates a lot of money. And they know it generates a lot of money, so their choice to not engage with it strikes me as being odd. It strikes me as being odd. So, because why would a company do something that contradicts their profit motive? Well, it would be because they have a countervailing ideology that prevents them from doing that. And so I feel like I have to assume that the reason they didn't have romance options was because they have some ideological reason, or because they felt like it contradicted the themes of the game. Because unless they have a deep and personal reason for it, they would have just done it because they would have made more money that way. Unless the only other option being just they didn't feel like they had time to do it. They didn't feel like they had time. Yeah, who cares? Take outside the capital. Mister says there's all kinds of flowers and trees nobody's seen before. Too many monsters and animals to count. When he comes to visit me, I always learn something new. So do you want to look at these pictures with me? Fine, I guess. Tree that's all red? You spelled paint on the picture or something? No, the tree really is all red like this. Even the air around it was all red, they said. Wait, this tree's just huge then? Such a thing is too big, isn't it? Not even my brother could make it up there. My brother's an expert at climbing trees. Not one person's better than he is. He can climb the tallest tree in Grand Tribe without breaking a sweat. Really? That's so cool. Hey, girl. My name's Maria. Okay. Listen, my mom told me that all people the honeybee in were dodgy. That's why I got scared and knocked down last time. I'm real sorry about that, Maria. I didn't really have any feelings for fictional characters. As someone who walked away from pornography, I saw what they were, no matter how wholesome it may seem. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right, and I feel like my opinions are a little nuanced. Because I've got a similar background to you, Blitzy. I was addicted and I quit. And it's the best thing I ever did for myself. But I feel like one of my key takeaways from quitting was learning the distinction between sexuality and lust, that they're not actually the same thing. Just as, you know, hunger and gluttony are not the same thing. Lust is a perversion of sexuality, but there is such a thing as healthy sexuality. And so I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with... I do think there's a way to make appeals to sexuality and eroticism without becoming pornographic, but it is a thin line. It can be a thin line at times. That's true. That's definitely true. Oh, yay, they're friends. Okay, can we get to rank 8 now? At that point, it's just ecchi. I would disagree. I would disagree. Because I would say ecchi is just softcore pornography. I think like this may seem like a weird example. But it's sort of it's in my feed, so I think it becomes relevant. I would almost use like Uma Musume as an example, where other than like I don't play the game, so I'm not even talking. Other than like swimsuits, costumes, and stuff, you know, the girls are modestly dressed, sure, but they're also supposed to be beautiful. They're supposed to be cute, and they're supposed to appeal to men in that way. And I don't think that there's... I think there is a line, you know? It's like the definition of pornography, for example, is that it appeals to the prurient interest. It's supposed to tempt you into lust. That's the point of pornography. But one of the... After I quit pornography, I became able to appreciate female beauty, including erotic beauty, sexual beauty, for what it was, as opposed to a means to an end, if that makes sense. And I admit, the line is thin at times, and the line is so thin that you could be justified in throwing it all away. But, you know, you think about, for example, like old nudes, right? Whether you're talking about Aphrodite rising from the sea or Greek statues, things like that. A lot of them have sexual themes, but they're not pornographic. In the same way, you know, you can portray beautiful women in a way that's respectful to the characters, while at the same time not diminishing or hiding from the fact that they do have a sexual appeal. I think the modern inability to tell that difference is a symptom of porn culture. And especially for me, because I've always been a bit of a prude, but I actually became less prudish, and the reason being that, you know, if you're addicted to pornography, you are a slave to your lust. You are a slave to your sexuality. And so anything that inflames your sexuality, it almost invokes a fight or flight response. You're frightened of it. You don't like it. And it's true, because your sexuality has been so perverted into lust, you no longer have the ability to tell the difference. And any appeals to sexuality becomes an appeals to lust because you yourself are a slave to it. I've used the metaphor, the analogy of like a wolf, right? You know, a wolf, a wild dog, is something to be afraid of. But if you tame the wolf, you put it on a leash, now it's a dog, and now it can be your best friend. And that was my experience with how my relationship with my sexuality changed in quitting. That's what I experienced, is that this thing that I was afraid of, in taming the sexuality, in learning how to control it, in controlling it rather than allowing it to control me, I actually developed a positive relationship with it, and was able to appreciate its role in the world. No? Just as there's nothing wrong with appreciating the taste of delicious food, that's not a sin. It's not sin to appreciate beauty. Again, I'll admit, it can be a thin line. But I think it's a distinction worth sussing out. Because you can have... The issue is, it can be so subtle. You can have two girls, the exact same girl in the exact same outfit, and you put them in different poses, and one's porn and one's not. You can have an artful nude that is in no way pornographic, and on the other end, a fully clothed woman who has been framed in such a way so as to make her pornographic. Because that's all porn is. It's just media that's designed to tempt you into lust. I suppose my main point is that in the battle, we need to remember that there's a difference between sexuality and lust. We conflating them is not going to do ourselves any favors. It comes down to intent and purpose. Yes, primarily intent and purpose, but also to a lesser extent, but also the media itself. The media itself. Because girls will fall into this trap, right? Because girls don't have as much of a visual sexuality as men do. They will do things or behave in ways that are pornographic without meaning to be, necessarily. Lines have been blurred so much in my life, man. I feel you. I feel you. And it's like I said, when you're actually addicted, as I was, there isn't a difference. There isn't a difference. Lust is the perversion of sexuality, and so if your sexuality is perverted, then everything that's sexual becomes lustful. It's almost like the... Actually, this might be the best way to put it. This might be the best way to put it. When Jesus is talking about... He's talking about purity laws, right? He says that... I'm paraphrasing here, I don't have the verse in front of me. He says that everything that goes into you is pure. What is the impurity comes from inside yourself. The impurity comes from inside yourself, and so if you have a perverse sexuality, then anything that you observe, anything that you consume which is sexual becomes perverted into lust, inherently. There are things which are of themselves pornographic. That is absolutely true. Independent, like you can be the most chaste, pure man alive, but that's still porn. That is still a temptation to lust. Because that's what the intent is, or because that's just what it is. It may not be your lust, it might be the product of someone else's lust, but it's still pornographic, it's still lustful. But if you have that in your heart, then anything, just in the same way that if you're gluttonous, if you have the inability to moderate yourself, then anything you eat becomes a temptation to gluttony. If you have a gluttonous heart and you have a bag of potato chips, that becomes a temptation to eat the whole bag of potato chips. It's the same way, it's just, it feels, obviously it's, for guys, and in the modern culture, it's a lot more prominent and a lot more obviously dangerous. Like a drug, yeah. Yeah, I mean, porn is more addictive than cocaine. It's as addictive as crack cocaine. And so, I'm not even saying that I always know where the line is, or that I'm the most equipped person to discern it, but there is something to be discerned. That's why I try to guide my heart each day, yeah, and good on you, and same here. And like I said, you know, it follows you. So yeah, I have my days. I have days where due to the impurity of my own heart, sexuality and lust become too intermixed, and the line becomes too thin and too blurry. And I just have to, you know, put the phone down or whatever else. I know people who are weaker and it's sad. It is, yeah. It is. I mean, I can say for myself, you know, I tried to quit for years. And there will always be, you know, that temptation never quite goes away. And so there is an argument. I don't want to diminish that. But there's an argument to just do away with it all. Just get rid of all of it. But I don't think you can do that. And I'm not entirely sure we should. Because erotic beauty is still a kind of beauty. And beauty is good. And I think everyone agrees with that in a way. Obviously, you and I are spoken for. We have our ladies. And so we know that there is such a thing as a sexuality which is not sin. And the ability to appreciate a woman in for her erotic beauty without it being a sin. It's just a matter... It's not a question of whether there is a line, it's just where is the line, I think. Gotten rid of so many sites, yeah. Yeah, same. Same. I mean, I didn't have any games, but... Yeah, I've got blockers on all my devices. That's good, Blissey. Yeah, those are all good things. So... It especially, like, it strikes me as an artist and as an author. I think that's why I have maybe a more nuanced approach than other people do. It's like I wrote a book, and in that book there are scenes where characters are nude. It's a book, it's not graphic, obviously. Yeah, but then it's like, okay, is that too far? You know, there was a scene that I wrote that was basically straight out of an anime. In terms of being slightly fan servicey, but again, it's a book. It's like there's nothing there, there's no image. Or when I'm doing art for my book, my D&D book that's coming out. One of the art that I'm most proud of, and actually was the first piece of art that I did for the book, was of a character named Indigo. And she has a little bit of, you can see a little bit of cleavage. Her shirt is a bit low. It's a dress. Like, is that too far? I don't think it is. The intention is not to incite lust. I don't think it does incite lust. I wouldn't even say it's an erotic piece of art, but obviously there is, you know, there's such a thing as sex appeal. Things like that. I remember the Supreme Court, actually. It was one of the judges. I don't remember who. But they were dealing with porn law. He's like, you know, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. And unfortunately, that does kind of end up being the standard. There's no one rule that you can throw out there. There's no one singular rule that you can throw out there to get all of the bad things without catching any of the good things. You know? Like, you could say nudity. It's like, well, no, there's artful nudes. Yeah. The girl is, you know, has such and such a bust size or such and such a waist size. There's only one standard I can think of that I think would be fair. And it would just be like getting rid of sex scenes. There's never been a necessary sex scene in any movie or anything. I think that's probably the only catch-all that actually works. I don't want us to become like the feminists, you know, who, or exaggerate breast physics. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Like, at what point is it egregious, and at what point is it just simply realistic? I don't have the answer to that. I don't. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things. I don't want to become like the feminists who throw a hissy fit if not every female character is a fat dyke. I want us to be allowed to have beautiful characters, to have cute characters, to have even sexy characters, to have seductresses and temptress characters. To have characters who are appealing, who are beautiful. I want us to be able to have shows and media that deal with themes of sexuality. That's just where I get nervous. I don't want so much, especially like with feminist culture, is a villainization of male sexuality, and I don't want that. I don't want to villainize male sexuality. I want to encourage healthy sexuality. And I'll use this as an example. Some may say it's a bad example. I would rather have a show with consistent fan service than a show that actively encourages people to do sexually immoral things. That's what I believe. I'm not saying we need to be just a common middle ground that doesn't pervert either side. I agree. I think we agree on that. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. But there are people who would presumably be on our side. When you hear them speak about the issue, they speak in such absolute terms that it feels like the exact same thing. Because there is a middle ground. But I feel like there are a lot of people like you and me, frankly, who have been traumatized. Who have been traumatized by pornography, and so they're unable to make that distinction. So a Studio Trigger anime over a CW drama, basically. I'll admit I don't like Studio Trigger for that reason. For that specific reason, I don't like Studio Trigger. I don't. I've never watched any of their anime for that reason. I think they take it too far. But in principle, yes. I was actually thinking more, because this has been the discussion on Twitter, I've been thinking more like, I was thinking more along the lines of like Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is egregious fan service. But when I was watching through Fairy Tail, it never struck me as being pornographic. I think because I felt like the author had... That's another thing, right? Is that a lot of fan service is comedic. A lot of it is just comedy. And so, especially like fan service comedy, like that's funny. You know, we should be able to laugh at that. I was thinking of like specifically Fairy Tail versus My Dress Up Darling. Because frankly, you know, I haven't watched it myself. But all of the clips I see from My Dress Up Darling are usually encouraging some form of perversion. So yeah, I'd rather have a show where all of the female characters are beautiful and sexy and unafraid of it than a show, but who have healthy relationships and a healthy view of sexuality than a show where all of the female characters are thin and modest in their dress and in their appearance, but they sleep around and encourage the audience to do the same. I think that's better for the soul. That's what I mean when I say it's... We keep coming back to it. The lines are thin. Four types of magic: fire, ice, electric, and wind. Okay, so be careful about elemental weaknesses and use scroll. Cool. Oh, Kasrina. Okay, well at least she's available. I haven't talked to her in ages. I'd rather Juna though. I think she's a higher priority. My Dress Up Darling, it's a cosplay that loves a designer. Clips can easily be taken out of context, but I get what they were going for. Yeah, I'm aware of the premise. And you're right. It's easy to take things out of context, so I don't want to... I don't want to come after anyone for watching the show or enjoying it. And that's definitely not my intention. I need to prioritize Juna. Especially when it comes to like Japanese media from other cultures, I want to be respectful of the fact that you can't expect I've said this with MetAphor and Persona, Shin Megami Tensei. You can't expect cultures different from your own to adhere to your own cultural values, so there is an element of grace. There's an element of grace where you shouldn't expect there to be total one-to-one alignment. At the same time, you don't want to compromise your values. I think Chainsaw Man is kind of a good example where, in my mind, Chainsaw Man is a show about characters struggling to do the right thing in a world which is corrupt with darkness. And so it's not even so much about whether the characters do the right thing or not, it's about whether the author, in the meta-narrative, acknowledges the bad thing as being bad. Characters are allowed to make mistakes as long as the mistake is treated as a mistake. If you're encouraging the audience to make the same mistake, that's a different story. Yeah, like how people expected Kanji to be gay, now to be trans. Yeah. Yeah, and you and I have talked about it before, but the translators of the Persona 4 remake are probably going to try and reframe the issue in that way. I would use Dawn to Dawn as a pretty good example. Dawn to Dawn is about sexuality. That all of its themes are about sexuality. I would love to do a video essay or just a regular essay about it at some point. You know, that's what it's about. And it has a little bit of fan service here or there, but all in all, I think it has a good message. I thought the Shante girl who picked it up earlier was your new employee. You know? Shante girl, you say? Couldn't be. Singer from last year? I recall her name was Mirtis. If she's still harassing me, that outfit is in danger. Perhaps she hasn't gone far. Let's look around. There she is, over there. Mirtis, right? Did you take my outfit? If so, I'll have it back, please. Your outfit? Girl's such a hoe. Don't play dumb. You're the only one who could have the gall to stoop so low. Oh, really? Well, I did pick up my dress earlier, but it's just so last year, so it's ashes now. What a jerk. You owe us money. That's what I want to say. Like, we paid for that. Why are folks angry about slight changes from the manga and anime, though? I don't know. I'm not a manga reader. The only thing that I know with certainty is that, like, in the last episode of the most recent season, there was a girl, and in the anime she was in a full spacesuit, but in the manga it was more like a leotard. Which, on the one hand, I kind of agree with people. I don't think that was a necessary change. I don't think that really altered the substance, and I don't think it would have been harmful to have her in a leotard. I don't think it would have changed anything or altered the moral substance of the series. But also, it's not a big deal. Like, I can understand the frustration in that you're making alterations to the guy's work for not really a good reason, but also it's minor, and I don't see a reason to call out for it. Another good example, actually, I would say, I actually just watched it recently. I watched Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is great, and even though I said earlier, Hell's Paradise has sex scenes. They're not graphic. You don't see anything. They're not graphic, but they have sex scenes. And sexuality is a core theme of the show. But the reason the reason for the sex and the sexuality is to show off that the bad guys are perverts. And so they're using their sexual themes to show that the bad guys are in the wrong. And that the good guys, specifically Gibimaru, who's just trying to get back to his wife, is in the right. So yeah, I guess it kind of does wrap back. Yeah, I mean, because the scenes, they're not graphic. You don't see anything. You see enough to know what they're doing, and then it pans away. But yeah, the villains are perverts, and that's the point. Not only are they perverts, they're perverted transsexuals, which makes it kind of, I feel like, pertinent. It's a perverted polycule of transsexuals. Those are the villains. They're the villains. They're the bad guys. I know. Take it out of context. I have no words. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that's the deal. It's kind of like how, you know, all the villains in Dawn to Dawn, maybe not all of them, but most of them, in some way relate to sexual assault. Because sexuality is at the core of the story's themes. It's the same with Hell's Paradise. And I would applaud them. I would applaud them for pulling off. I would applaud them for pulling it off in such a way which I don't think is pornographic. You're a big famous songstress. What the hell compels you to show up out of the blue for a sideshow and steal my livelihood? So you listen, bow out or I'll spread those pretty Erica flowers all over the stage. They're poisonous, of course. Perfect for a viper like you. Maybe you'll shed your skin and the world will find out what a cute little thing you really are. Hey, Erica flower. I don't know, don't ask me. I'm scared. There are Erica flowers on stage. I'm guessing that'll like cause her to revert into her child form that we saw earlier. Yeah. They touch on rape and sexual assault in such an exaggerated yet clever way the rest of the internet doesn't get it. Exactly. It's Dawn to Dawn is actually masterful in that way. It is. It addresses the issue without using any graphic language or even dealing with the issue directly. I mean, it's a surrealist shonen. It's a surrealist shonen action comedy, and it takes advantage of the surrealism to deal with those kinds of themes without being graphic about it, which is really worthy of respect. I think it's a masterclass. It's a masterclass. Child music was my only hope in a way. That's something else, like slightly related note. As an author, it is my opinion, if you have a male main character, if you have a hero and a heroine, your story has sexual themes. if you have a hero and a heroine, your story has sexual themes. Because it is impossible to tell a story about the sexes without making some comment on how they ought to interact. In the same way that if you have multiple races in a story, you have a message on racism. Because you have it shows how the races interact with one another. And it says something about what you think it should be. Whether it's prominent or not. So shows that deal with that are ones that I are ones that I appreciate. That's Hell Paradise or Dawn to Dawn. And especially doing it in ways that are accessible, in which service to deal with the themes without going into too much detail. Because of a certain scene with Momo, yeah, I know exactly the one you're talking about. And unfortunately, people rip that out of context to try and accuse Dawn to Dawn of being pervy, which it isn't. And that's kind of the whole point of the scene. And that scene in the anime specifically, I think was done very well. It's done very well. And it kind of goes to what we were talking about earlier about purpose and intent, but also even meta-narrative. Because when you watch the scene, you feel afraid, even though it's a sexual scene. It's not provocative. It doesn't provoke lust. It provokes fear. You're afraid for the heroine. You're afraid for Momo. And so it's dealing with sexual content in a way which does not provoke lust. So different, I imagine. You're making an effort to take the future in your hands. Quite a pair we make, hmm? I think that actually does take some skill. Because I remember in one of the books I wrote, there is a sexual assault that happens in the book. And originally, I was going to just write the scene. But I didn't. I didn't write the scene. I just skipped to the aftermath. And the reason I did that was because I was afraid of writing a scene which was supposed to be very tense and very fearful. Writing that scene and some people taking it the wrong way. And so I just skipped it entirely. It takes a decent amount of finesse to be able to pull that off. That's fair, yeah. Ooh, Magla, thank you. Let's stop this. There's plenty. Just Yupa. So much at rank 8. I hate her story arc, but I do want to rank her up because she's already. I love the summoner. It's been so useful. So I probably will go for her today. And we'll see how it... She might be the last one that we can do for now. We still have, 8 days. So I think we could probably afford to do at least 2 or maybe two days more before we jump into the side quests. First, however, I need to use the restroom. I will be right back. There we go. Just in time. We should not have closed out that menu. Alright. Let's talk to Yufa so she can tell us how Christianity is awful and oppressive. I hate the fact that my favorite archetype in this game is linked to my least favorite character. Besides maybe Hulkenberg. Her and Hulkenberg are at the bottom of my list. And it's different. At least with Hulkenberg it has more to do with her character, and with Yufa it has more to do with the themes of her character. Luckily, I think we should be on track to actually getting all the social links in the game, because other than, obviously we just met Yufa and Basilio. We have everyone at, rank 6+. Oh, he wasn't at the church, but I thought I could feel her presence. Of course, maybe it was just my imagination. Oh, there's a door back here. just sneak in. Sure. Avalon, I can feel Magla coming from behind this door, and it's not good. Yes, because the church is evil, and it's doing experiments on her mother. So freaking predictable. God, please help Mom and all the rest of the sick people. You, I promise to always pray a whole lot and be a good girl. It's voices. They're praying. How dare they? Yuffie! Avalon! What are you doing down here in the basement? This is where the sick people are. This is the sick room, you realize? Roby's mother and the others who are ailing. They are faithful adherents, afflicted with an illness we cannot identify. Your request is skilled healer, but to no avail. Well, what a coincidence. We'll just, Patra, go. Medi, go. Healing magic never works in cutscenes. Those afflicted are prone to violence, as though they are not themselves, so we had to contain them here. That's right, Mama and everyone got, possessed by something evil. That's why I go to church every day and pray for a really long time. If I pray under the church, God will hear me faster, right? Oh my goodness, they're actually taking shots at thoughts and prayers right now. That's actually what we're doing. That's actually what we're doing. They're doing thoughts and prayers. Oh, cripes. Oh yeah, you guys are doing a lot of thinking and praying, but what about actually solving the problem?
No.
Goodness gracious. This illness appears to only affect followers of Sanctism. It must be the doings of the devil. It's experiments. I know. It's experiments. Therefore we must continue offering our prayers unto God. My path for triumphing over the malady is the path of the profound faithful. But something's not right here. The smell I've been faintly sensing. I can see it now. This place is filled with stagnant magma. Only because far too many intense feelings are concentrated in one place. Dragon God? OMG, the bad vibes are making people sick? I don't mean to deny sanctism, but I simply cannot believe any of this can be resolved through prayer alone. Yes. Yes, allow us to make a parody of the Catholic Church. And then have our main criticism be that they don't do enough to help the sick. The Catholic Church, which established modern medicine and the modern hospital system. Yes. They clearly do not do enough to help the sick, and only know how to heal the sick through prayer to fantasy gods. Yes, clearly that is an educated and well-formed critique. I am very smart. I get much gold on Reddit. Like he reminds me of what I felt back then. Good intentions twisted by blind faith. I think continuing to pray so much only serves to worsen the illness. All the subtlety of a sledgehammer. I want to throw my controller against the wall. Silence! You're nothing more than a heathen. What could you possibly know? Their pain is only worsened by blasphemers who just speak against God in this holy church. Leave her at once. We have a pagan who offers human sacrifices, and she's calling the Christians superstitious. I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm just skipping this. I'm just skipping all of this. I'm so freaking done. We can't just pray. We have to take action or nothing ever changes. Oh my gosh. Shut up. And this is what I mean when I said earlier, it's not... My problem with Yufa is not her character, it's the themes of her character. Yufa herself is harmless. But when every time we talk to her, she's talking... It's just bashing Christianity. Just making claims that don't make sense. and trying to make false equivalents between going to church and worship and sacrificing literal people to a dragon god that doesn't actually exist, and which she knows doesn't actually exist, except in some mystical form. Then it becomes ridiculous. Ooh, item tracking. I like that. This is prices at general stores. That is good. Ooh. Serena is good. That's why I closed out of the menu again. Why do I keep doing that? We're gonna blame it on the being tired. We should get her as high as possible as soon as possible. I'm genuinely not very concerned by the other dungeons. As long as we can do 1 or 2, I don't really care. Oh, Avalon! Still alive and kicking, I see. So used to seeing you up on the deck. It's weird seeing you elsewhere. How you doing? Wish I could say the same for myself. That's something on my mind, actually. I'm glad I could actually go straight into the exit this time. Thanks, Avalon. Tell you the truth. Well, cutscene begin. I told my supporters I was dropping out of the race for the crown. They were understanding about it. Some of them sure do like to run wild, running down the rich and raking in money, I heard. They're kidnapping people, carrying them off to the woods, holding them for ransom. Not just the nobles. Not just the men, but the women, and the children too. Manhot's the one spurring it all on. He's been the clever one. I just wish I could do something, being that it's my fault and all. You think that? I'm the one who planned all those rotten ideas in their heads. Now they're treating petty robbery like some political accomplishment. This is the most... This is genuinely like the most sane and well-ordered thing I've heard this game say as regards politics. I'm glad, even though the game supports political assassination, I'm glad they could at least manage the gumption to oppose rioting. Good job, MetAphor. C+. I was trying to end injustice, not spread it. A long time ago, back when I was a little dustbin, there was this old parapus man who gave me a little cash, even though he was probably just bored of me. Most people would run to a market and buy food before someone else stole that money, but not me. I bought a dagger. That was all I needed to run away from the village. I was following Parapus' code. Defend yourself, even if you're alone. I hunted animals in the mountain to survive, but my dagger broke when I started using my fist. Bounty hunting came natural after that. I got hurt a lot. Some of those wounds should have killed me. I tell you, I wasn't ever going back to those days of getting used. Came back to the village just one time, hoping to thank that old man. But I couldn't. Probably because he died. He was an old man. He was dead. Side of the road like he got dumped there. I'm not dead. The doctor says I'm getting better. Didn't have to find work. Job was to be test subject for igniters. Pay was good, for what a parapus can earn anyway. I was told he'd done it several times already. The only reason he wanted that money was to give it away, so it's told, because it's just who it was. The kind of thing I'm trying to put an end to. My only goal, if I'm being honest. Maybe, but... Kasrina, join my crew. Become my Nakama. I will become the king of, I don't know, whatever country we're in right now. Archetype Oni. Ore wa nare. Know your letters? You can't read. Makes sense, actually. What I'm just realizing is she seems to have, like, bikini armor. Like a chastity belt, basically. But it's underneath her shorts, which is kind of an interesting way to do it. I feel like it would be the opposite. World is only made equal through everyone's effort and cooperation. I like the sound of that. It's kind of the world I want to live in. Ah yes, a world of radical equality. Let us march, comrade. The cause. All the rest. I gotta put in the work. Hey, Evelyn, can I help me out one more? You don't need to ask. Do ya? You fancy magic, including mind reading? I want to stop Manahawk, though. Will you go with me? Thanks, Avalon. I gotta say, it is so assuring to have you along. Although I think I might actually need to do some traveling to get Maria's up to her final link. Apparently, their hangouts on the outskirts of Altbury. They keep their particulars a secret from me, though. I'll look into it and get back to you. Stop by again, though. Yeah, we can go together. Thanks. I'll be waiting. I want to talk to Brigitte. I want to know Brigitte. I want to get the merchant upgrade. Thanks, Bae. Why did you chill in the air today? Is everyone in the mountains seeing this frigid? It's actually quite balmy by the area standards. You know, we're not far from where I was born. Ah, this crisp air fills me with nostalgia. Oh, I mean, that run of yours is quite quick, even in the snow. We had to fly over terrain like this, but your man just blast through it. We can fly, though, now. Such a compliment would bring nerves to tears. We only need 8 days to prepare. Don't let ourselves waste this time. Yeah, they're really hammering on home. I guess it's the game telling us that's our cue to start doing dungeons. But I think I want to give it one more day. Good choice. Wrong button. Keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. Did we ever handshake with Basilio? No, actually. Oh, I was wrong. Basilio is the last one. Like 7, 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 4, 4, 6, 7, 6. Gallica's story locked, so that's not, we can't help that. Is there the only one we can talk to? So I actually think traveling might be a better use of our time. The thing is, we know Hulkenberg wants to talk to us during travel, and we're going to need to do some traveling anyway. I also low-key presume that Basilio will be unlocked during travel. I mean, he's right there, but we can't think about myself, you know? I'm used to doing all this thinking. Get my thoughts in order. Skip down, but don't think about my mind, not to think about anything. Yes, Basilio starts over travels. Actually, it would be smarter to do Basilio first, then Hulkenberg. Because Basilio would continue, his story would continue off the ship. That's also what I mean. It's like, if this were actually, you know, the end of the game, we would need at least 8 days. We need at least 8 days for Basilio. No, I don't think that's happening. The only other thing, let me check. Let me check Kasrina, actually. I do want to see her as soon as possible. And I remember Barden, I accidentally locked Barden away. No, okay. Never mind. I accidentally locked Barden. I accidentally locked Barden. Because I didn't realize I actually needed to talk to him to start the quest. Alright, where are we going, folks? It's at the Mage Academy. If I click on it, does it try to tell me not to? Yeah, okay, so we're going there eventually, I guess. Defeating the Frozen Forest is supposed to be easier, but I guess that's the one we'll do. I'm worried that we missed relics. The army lost sight of it bothers me. Either fleet of foot or I'll be clear once we're there. It appears we can fly there from here. And of course, that is. Let's go. Now I'll talk to Basilio along the way. Hopefully we should be able to do these quests in just 2 days. Yes, Basilio wants to talk to us. No, Falkenberg does not come to mind, actually. He's down below. Got it. Can we cook anything interesting? Finisher noodles? Worth making one of, at least. This should give us 2, I think? Skipping. Yes, that gave us 2. Very nice. Now, if we're put in a situation where there are a lot of enemies that we know we can't defeat, just down the finisher noodles. Let's talk Basilio. Hey, what are you up to? Always waiting for us. Gotta make sure we're in top shape to face him. Alright, so I want to ask you, been thinking about what I can do, see? Let's say I'm a fish, yeah, hypothetical like. Supposing I were a fish, think I taste any good? What are you getting at? Hey, sorry, truth is when we went to Virga Island, I started thinking it'd be nice to be a fisherman. I decided the diner idea was too outlandish. If I wanted to be a diner, I had to be isekai to another world with like racial equality and stuff, you know? No one, it's impossible for a therapist to own like a tavern or anything in this world. Everyone knows it. It's impossible. It just don't happen. It's not. There's no therapist in the entire world that owns a restaurant. It doesn't happen. Not possible. But I can't swim to save my life. So if I fall in the water, that's me done for, yeah? But my chance might be a touch better if I didn't taste good. Oh good. What else can I do about it? Talk about it.
お前
Really? You got a rub out of the gold, don't you? Tilio, you sweet, stupid soul. I love you.
心配させちまってすまん。
Alright, if I got you, don't worry.
大層なもんじゃねえんだ。
Oh, he's
兄貴が死んでさ、
this is voiced.
俺託されたと思ったんだよ。ルイの子供だけど、この先の俺自身の道も。だって兄貴はこんなやつをかばってくれたんだぜ。ならその恩は俺が前に進まないと返せねえ。なのに自分がどんな道を生きてえのかぐるぐるしちまってさ。
深く考えすぎだ。
Using sit-ups like a man possessed. Not sure Basilio is he lost himself in an endless set of sit-ups. Well, that emotional high crashed quick, didn't it? But oh,
さっきまで何の話してたっけ？
I'm tempted to say who knows.
忘れた。
あ、思い出した。将来のことを考えてたんだ。
Nope, no dodging it.
まあでも考えんのは一旦やめに。ルイは強いやつこそ正しいと思ってやがった。俺たち兄弟も一時はそれに。
Yeah, it sounded right to you, and we never had a moment where you could ever articulate why.
けどそれって自分がガキの時に嫌いだった大人たちと同じことしてるんだ。弱いからガキだからパリパスだから全部誰かを見下すための言い訳だろ。それが良しとされんのだけは止めなきゃいけねえ。だから未来を
頼りにして。
ありがとな。じゃあ兄。
It's a fist bump instead of a handshake. Please be a different animation. He's so funny. Nah, alright. Much to ask.
今日はいい日だ。将来どうなりたいかはゆっくり考えるよ。こればっかりはすぐ答えなんて出ねえ。
Yep, think about it all you like, man.
ああ、いや、なんでもねえ。
Too many sit-ups, you're cramping.
なあ、外見たか？
Yep, got another.
行く手に広がるのは秋と冬の交点。魔法の影響により通年で秋と冬の両方が見られる土地である。その圧巻の美しさは旅人たちの心を癒してくれるが、長居をしすぎると季節を固定するほどの強力な魔力に導かれたのか、凱旋者は実り。
Okay, we got a cutscene, I guess. Everyone, please have a look at this. It possesses such a deep red color. Nice, just a stunning display of autumn leaves. What do you mean by autumn leaves? I suppose it's your first time seeing them. Colder regions gather the trees shift to a red or yellow when the temperature descends. The goal this season, autumn. What do you know about the innkeeper told me? This place is the leaves stay that way the whole year. The snow too. Oh, if it's usually a result of the temperature, then how is it that these particular autumn leaves maintain their pigment throughout the year? Magic.
ガリか
I mean, I was actually trying to go for the middle one, but Joy-Con drift changed my option. Exact work is unfamiliar to me. What I've heard is all the work of one of the Hero Kings. Specifically, the Faker King. Take a particular delight in surprising his subjects. They cast some magic upon this mountain. Magic to set the changing seasons in stone would definitely sound like something the Faker King would do. He needs to learn such a story about this place.
よし
I do worry about our stats.
ありがとうございます。
Y'all not allow me to come off the island. I've never seen something such as this. For similar sentiments, I might just never been so deeply moved by such a sight. We're bound to see many more surprising things as we continue our journey. I'm surprised we're taking that record with us, even though we've already completed Maria's... well, basically completed Maria's link.
北東の山中に位置する林道である。オセアナの海がわけもなく宙へとそびえるように、この地もただ周囲からの温度変化を拒絶し続けるのだ。すべてを凍らせるような空気の中、凱旋者は滑るように
According to these stories, it might look similar within these woods. The beast seems quite dedicated to hiding itself. Seems no choice but to lure it out. The preferred way of doing this, so we just need to make a scene then.
そういえば
And when we heard the recruitment center, it previously appeared with since some of the Valmos had been killed.
なるほどな
Aye, so the sons of the Valmos. Let's show caution in this place. We may find ourselves surrounded by foes in an open area. Alright, let's get started. Our goal is ultimately to take down Louis, right? Well then, we can't allow ourselves to get stymied by something like this. I do want to see if we have any Tetra break in our current party. I sense something. Oh, there's a piece here. I have to hope we find all the pieces soon, or else I would have to assume that I missed one. I don't have any. Falkenberg, maybe? I have repel physical. That is not what I need. Hold on. I feel like one of these has... that raises a barrier. I can remove a physical. I don't think I have anything that can remove. I'm looking. I could have sworn. I could have sworn there was one on the general. Guess not. Yes. What? Hmm. No, that's also repel physical. That's also repel. That's repel physical. I don't think I have anything. Hmm. That is a problem. This might actually be a good time to train up the pugilist. Because we have a lot of people with fire abilities right now. Just looking. Oh well. Well, I guess that'll do it for today. Let me stretch. Sorry again for another short one. It's not... Well... I have a number of excuses today. For one, I keep getting dragged away by people in this damn house. But besides that, I'm also on like 6 hours of sleep, so it's probably as good of a time as any to just kind of take a step back and yeah. I don't know who's gonna be the thumbnail. I have to think about that. I'm tempted to make it Juno just because, you know, we spent like over half the stream just discussing sexuality in media. I don't know. I don't know. It's fine to repeat, I don't like repeating. But it might be... Yeah, I guess it might just be what we have to do. The other option would be Basilio, but I don't feel like having Basilio as a thumbnail for a video where we do nothing but talk about sexuality for like 3 hours. I don't think that's appropriate. RimWorld on Tuesday. I actually plan to return to LEGO Star Wars with a friend of mine. Streaming that Wednesday. We won't be streaming Thursday. I'll be traveling. And we won't be streaming Sunday because I'll be building my PC. So next week's MetAphor stream might be pushed to Monday. And hopefully we should still be doing a peak collab that week. I also plan to start doing a lot more collabs through October because I love spooky season. And it gives me an excuse to play horror games. So I want to do a lot of games. I want to do Phasmophobia. I have plans. I have things that I want to do. Because I will not be streaming through November. Because I'll be going on a trip, so I gotta get all my spooky stuff out in October. Which is another reason why it sucks that my computer isn't ready, but it's another story. So, Otherwise, that'll do it for today. How many hours are we at now? $76. Yeah, makes sense. So that'll do it for today. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys on the flip side.